Good morning and welcome to quarterfinal Thursday here at the World Ultimate Club Championships in Cincinnati, Ohio. We have a tremendous lineup of competitive games for you on this critical day of competition, and it begins in the men's division. A bid in the semifinals on the line. Nomadic Tribe from Tokyo in Japan against GOAT from Canada, more specifically Toronto. It is a privilege to be with you, Evan Lepler and Liam Grant along for the ride. Liam, Canada's GOAT, 7-0. They've looked very good. They were not broken in their power pool crossover win against Colony. Nomadic Tribe has taken a much tougher road, but after losses to Revolver and Bad Skid in pool play, they took down Relampagos from the Dominican on Universe Point, and then one of the upsets of the tournament, taking down Cusp from Bologna. What's it going to take today for Nomadic Tribe to continue this magical run?
Yeah, a bit surprised to see him get this far after those early losses to Bad Skid and Revolver, but I think this could be a good matchup for them. We look at the GOAT O-line, and it's quite a short O-line. You have the likes of Burrell, Hurst on there that gave Colony some trouble just in terms of pace, but perhaps actually good matchups for this Nomadic Tribe team. Usually you'll find a lot of the North American teams that have a massive height advantage, particularly in their cutters, but that's not really how GOAT have been playing. So let's see if Nomadic Tribe can keep up with them with those deep shots. But yeah, we saw them lose 15-13 to Bad Skid, and I talked to Holger Beutenmüller about that game, and he said it was the best game they ever played. Now that was before the Clapham game,
right.
So that maybe has changed, but you can understand why they lost. And yeah, that close one at Relampagos, getting out of jail and making it this far, but this team just knows what to do in the business end when it comes down to it. When the tournament's on the line, they step it up, and yeah, this is going to be a really exciting one.
Nomadic Tribe led by number 4, Taku Hona. 19 goals is the most on the team, 19 assists the most on the team, 14 goals is second most on the team, 33 combined scores, 12 more than anyone else on this Nomadic Tribe roster.
Yeah, Taku Hona, actually a sports scientist and one of the staff members of Club Junior, a well-known brand out of Japan.
So we'll see how GOAT can try to neutralize him. Hona had the layout grab on the final point yesterday, the D, and then dished the game-winning goal to beat the gentleman from Bologna. Looking at the quarterfinal bracket, 8 teams left in pursuit of a world title. Of course, we began with 40 in the men's division. The winner of GOAT Nomadic Tribe will take on the winner of Revolver and Chalk, USA and France, going head-to-head in the other half of this top side of the bracket. That game is starting concurrently with this one at 11 a.m. today. 2 hours from now, we'll see the bottom 2 quarters in the men's division. Double wide from USA against Bad Skid from Germany. Ring of Fire from USA against Australia Colony. We'll have that Ring Colony game for you here on the Whiff Diff streams. So GOAT's going to begin this game on defense. And whenever you have a North American powerhouse that relies on size and strength and athleticism, there's always an adjustment and feeling out period going against the quicker, smaller Japanese team. What do you anticipate here as these two teams feel each other out in these first few points?
Well, we've seen a lot of this Nomadic Tribe zone defense. It worked very well against Bologna. I don't think it's going to work that well against GOAT. As I said, the likes of Hurst are going to cut open that zone. So let's see if they keep the same tactics. And that is not a great pull to start this game off.
Ian McKenzie is gonna hear it from his teammates for a long time after that pull, which frankly came closer to us in the booth than it did to anywhere on the playing field.
It was so recklessly out of bounds, and made me think, did he do that on purpose?
Yeah.
Is this a tactic they're employing?
We've seen Japanese teams like not play defense for the first 2/3 of the field. Maybe this is the Canadian way of playing possum at the Open. An easy break of the mark on the first throw, and this is Hona. Cole Keffer on Hona at the start. Good handler defense from Vasiliev. It takes a really difficult reset throw to get it to Nemoto. And now they're checking the disc. It's Zlatic on Hori.
Yeah, Zlatic scoring the only break against Colony, the man from Slovenia. Played some mixed ultimate in Canada before crossing over to the men's division.
Yeah, he initially tried out for Toronto's AUDL team to try to get in the men's, and they didn't take him. They said he was one of the last 2 or 3 cuts one year, and then the next year he came back, they took him, and he led the team in blocks. So he has quickly proven his value, and certainly did so against Colony 2 days ago. And what's being considered at this point, I think, Liam, one of the games of the tournament, just in terms of how clean it was, with the exception of that 1 point at 11-10, which frankly was brutal. I think there were 8 turnovers combined. Goat was still able to hold, and Sachin Raina, the coach of Toronto, couldn't believe it. So we were so patient all game. It was amazing, except for that 1 point when we had 3 hucks, and none of them were good decisions. Looking long, and that's not going to work. Intended for Komori. But the Goat defense trying to make a statement on the opening point. It's another sunny and gorgeous day here in Ohio. There is as little breeze at this morning hour as we've had all week. Quinn over to Vasiliev. To Ian McKenzie. Vasiliev playing in his 4th WUCC. And Huyn to the end zone, and McKenzie has not had an opening point to remember.
Yeah, I don't know if he got enough beauty sleep last night. He has been not on point with that pull out of bounds, and now dropping an easy goal to get an early break for a goal, a gift for this Japanese side.
Let's see if Nomadic Tribe can make Goat pay. They got off to such a great start against CUS Bologna yesterday. They led 6-2 in that game, and then Bologna sees momentum back, tied it up at 8-all. Nomadic Tribe still pulled it off, won 14-11 in another exhilarating game. The past couple days, we've saw some beauties. That Clapham-Badskid game that you and Ian called being right up there.
Yeah, definitely the best game of the tournament for me to call. I didn't think Clapham would get knocked out by another European team, but that's just what happens at great tournaments like this.
And no call. Vasiliev emphatic. And Tribe's Nemoto agrees. So the 3rd turnover of this opening point.
Looks like injury being called. Vasiliev possibly hurt himself on that bid.
Isaiah Masik-Kelly running onto the field from the near side. A guy who's been used in a variety of roles by Sachin Raina.
One Russian player replaced by another there, Evan.
Going by the WCBU rosters, you're absolutely right. Masik-Kelly and Vasiliev playing on the Russian mixed beach team last year in Royan, but Toronto's D-line offense not able to get it to the end zone this time, and it's Otani. Komori. Into the red zone goes Nomadic Tribe. This team from Tokyo, the 2017 Japanese national. They were not able to defend their title this year. Buzz Bullets beat them 14-8 earlier this summer. But Nomadic Tribe has proven here in Ohio that there are more than one great teams in Japan. Hammer, back of the end zone, yes! And Nomadic Tribe able to hold. Ian McKenzie will have some reflection to do after that point with the pull and the drop, and you can see it on his face as he walks off the field.
Yeah, an opportunity missed for this GOAT D-line. I don't think that's going to happen too often in this game, that they cough it up a couple of times, Nomadic Tribe. Usually very good at playing that small ball, keeping possession. But a shaky first point, and I thought it was going to go on a while longer. And as you said, we had that unusual point with Colony against GOAT. And that was the first point I arrived at that match. And I was like, wow, has this game been like this the whole time? And somebody said, no, it's not. And I almost felt like leaving.
Vasiliev coming up with a D, but GOAT unable to convert on a couple chances. And the Japanese will never shy away from attempting the difficult throw. They have perfected the art of these blades and these hammers to tight spaces. They hardly ever huck intentionally with significant float. They're always firing at an angle, and that's largely because they don't have the size to win jump balls. So they are trying to play precision ultimate, and they're very good at it. Now, speaking of precision ultimate, aside from that 1 point, GOAT's O-line was extremely precise on Tuesday against Colony. Thompson McKnight, Connor Armstrong, Cameron Harris, Nathan Hurst, Antioch Berloni, Ben Burrell, and Jay Boychuk. This offensive line that has been clicking. In the round of 16 yesterday, Toronto GOAT opened up an 8-3 lead at the half on Chevron Action Flash from Great Britain, and went on to win handily by the final score of 15-6. Closest game was the 15-13 victory over Colony, but GOAT is 7-0. Beat Ragnarok in pool play, getting past the Danes 15-9. 15-6 over Venezuela, Warao. 15-7 over another Japanese team, Heat Haze. I think maybe playing another Japanese team will help get you ready for the style as Harris shoots it. Ben Burrell, the leading goal scorer for GOAT, hauls in the first of the day. And we're tied at 1, turnover free. First offensive possession for Toronto.
Ben Burrell with some incredible pace there. And we see again, not a lot of tall cutters on this GOAT O-line, but that doesn't matter. They have the pace, they have the throws to lead the receivers. And when you have someone like Ben Burrell who's going to give you that much separation, he doesn't need to go up in the air to get goals. He can just run it down.
Becomes the first member of this GOAT team with double-digit goals in the tournament. That's number 10 for Burrell. But there's great balance on this GOAT roster. Eleven different players have scored at least 5 goals on the team, and feels like another dozen more have at least 2 or 3. So 1-1. Jarrett Marin will do the pulling honors this time. Of course, his first pull against Colony also soared out of bounds.
Mind games, Evan. All mind games here from the GOAT team. This is their first outing at a World Ultimate Club Championships, which I was surprised to hear, but going back, yeah, that's correct. It's their first time, and a great performance so far.
This pull is perfect. Might have soared out the back, but Nomadic Tribe fields it. Hona over to Nemoto. Jackie Howes on Nemoto. Jeff Bomber Powell getting some early action today. He didn't play in the Colony game. Been battling injuries, and it is very early in the North American season overall. Howe with a handler defense, nearly a Callahan, and then he delivers the score, connecting with Prees. It's 2-1 on the GOAT break.
Yeah, that was just great team defense there. Everyone on the GOAT D-line shutting down their player, having to throw that Dangerous dump pass, almost to Callahan. Instead gets the assist.
He rushed that a little bit. Sachin Raina would not have been pleased had that been into the grass. But Priest, the new number 16 on Toronto Goat, makes the play. Phil Watanabe made that number look good for such a long time. So it's 2-1 Goat. There was a really interesting point that some of the Goat leadership made before the game, Liam. And it was yesterday, Nomadic Tribe played 54 high-intensity elimination points. Goat played 21. That has to linger in some way less than 24 hours later.
Yeah, they're carrying some battle wounds, having to fight through the trenches to get into this quarterfinal. Goat sailing in quite comfortably. But sometimes those battle scars can be a help as well, you know.
It did feel like Nomadic Tribe was more ready for the intensity of bracket play than Bologna was. They had played the crossover game do or die, and Nomadic Tribe needed a universe point win, getting a block and a score against Relampagos to advance. And you think about, you know, how Ultimate at this level is such a game of inches, and 1 point can determine legacies. Relampagos holds and defeats Nomadic Tribe. They're at best playing for 17th place. Instead, here they are in the final 8 on Thursday at the World Championships. Takuya downfield, Nakao looking long. Hori, the intended target, but it's denied. Greg Ellis got there first.
Hori was looking for his 10th goal of the tournament, but denied there. I didn't think Greg Ellis was going to get it for quite some time and then just accelerate at the last moment. Vasiliev back on the field after calling an injury earlier.
Underneath, it's Alec Arsenal. Reset had plenty of float on it for Huynh. And here's Keffer, former rugby standout. Huynh thought about it. Sachin Raina told Jason Huynh after the Colony game that he thought it was Huyn's best defensive game ever. And he asked him how many times he touched the disc, and Huynh said 0. And that's something that if the coach doesn't speak out to a player, he may not think he did that much. It's good coaching.
It is good coaching, and something that's not often rewarded in the game of Ultimate, just playing shutdown defense.
Vasiliev breaks the mark to Ellis. Came up with a D this point. One thing about this GOAT team, Liam, the younger generation is not waiting anymore. And Greg Ellis has the goal, completing the bookends. The second break for GOAT to lead 3-1. Smooth offense from Toronto. They turned it over twice in the opening point, allowing Nomadic Tribe to convert, but since then, 3 in a row for GOAT.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
Today for multiple viewing screens, Liam. Quarterfinals in the men's and women's division, all happening at this hour. 2 quarters at 9, 2 quarters at 11 in the men's and women's divisions. right now on our adjacent field. You have Ozone and Molly Brown. You could watch that game. Our friends at Ulti World streaming Seattle Riot and Canada's Sixers. The other women's quarters, Revolution and Huck. Colombian and Japan delegations have been mighty impressive. And then another All-American quarter with Brute Squad and Fury. The rematch of last year's national title game in the U.S. Nomadic Tribe has obviously experienced some defensive pressure, unlike what they're used to seeing. How can they adapt to it?
They've been very static in their handler set so far. Playing that kind of 1-6 vertical stack we're used to seeing Japanese play. Slightly offset, and they isolate one cutter, and Goat are doing a very good job of shutting that down, and then they're quite stagnant after that, and they need to keep grinding out. Need a lot of players really working with a team like Goat, because you can't rely on one person to get free. Their defense is monumental. So you need to keep grinding out those cuts and maybe see more expansive throws. You see they get their one goal for that hammer. The hook they threw earlier was quite floaty, it got D'd, so see more of that kind of Japanese flair we're used to in terms of the throwing, because it's going to take creative throws to get players free, because I think Goat have the athleticism to shut down a lot of their cuts.
Jarrett Marin's lefty backhand pulls, sails out of bounds. And it is a great point you make. Typically Japanese to not start someone else side by side with the disc or behind the disc.
Yeah, again, we see this kind of offset vertical stack, usually isolating the person number one in the stack.
Quick throw to Hona, handling with Takuya. Hashiguchi is super deep right now, and he's not going to be involved with the play. Easily taken away by Marin. Over to Barbieri. Here's Mike McKenzie to tie Barbieri. And a pick was called. That's why it looked so easy. Jarrett Marin signaling a goal.
There definitely was a pick called quite a while ago. Remy Ojo relaying that message. So I think it will go back. Not sure if it affected, but eventually if it goes to 1 or 2 passes, a lot of play continues, you have to bring it back.
Goat searching for its third break. And Marin on 2 tries, unable to track it down.
You know, Tribe won't get too many opportunities to get to this back on O, so they need to bang this one in and not give them another chance to extend their lead.
This is Komori, the leading goal scorer for the Japanese team. Katsuhide Hori resets it. And now Hori coming across. Howe takes it away. And Hori's calling a foul. And it doesn't appear there's going to be a contest.
Yeah, the man from Waseda University, quite casual in how he called that foul. It did look like the goal player had come around the corner uncontested.
It looked like Howe ripped it out of his hands and tried to sell it by throwing it immediately.
Yeah. You know, in for a penny, in for a pound. If you're going to try and get away with it, do the best you can.
Hona delivers to Nakao. Downfield for Otani. Hona to the end zone, and Ojo may have gotten a piece of it, but did he get a piece of the Nomadic Tribe? offensive player as well.
Hard one to tell. Ojo definitely had an angled attack to this, but maybe just grazed the Japanese player. It looked like the Nomadic Tribe player got a hand to this first. I don't think it was reckless play, but maybe just hit his hand as he was attempting to catch.
I think that's exactly what it was. As a reminder, there are yellow-shirted game advisors who are there to give advice if sought, but they are usually on the passive side and their decisions are not binding. There's a no contest signal for Ojo, and they're going to call it a goal. Or at least Ojo thought it was going to be a goal. Yeah, there's a difference whether it's a foul or whether it's a strip. And this did look like more of a foul, so that would require Nomadic Tribe to complete at least one more pass, starting from the goal line. Otani throws it away. Nomadic Tribe have not played a clean offensive point yet. And Goat keeping them in the game with their own mistakes. You can just tell, Liam, some of these throwing windows that Nomadic Tribe are used to getting, not quite so large today against the Goat defense, which is taller, longer, and faster than any they've played so far.
I think a lot of their tall players doing well to actually stand a little bit off on the mark, not allowing them to throw under their arms, taking away those inside channels by backing off slightly.
Should qualify that. They played Revolver. Revolver beat Nomadic Tribe 15-10, an 8-7 game at the half. That disc, was it inbounds or out of bounds? Goat saying out, Nomadic Tribe saying in. There's no bias involved there.
Yeah, that one very close. So we talk about this, the advice that game advisors can give. So you have what is requested advice, if you approach the game advisor and seek their opinion, but you also have active advice. You'll see them do this quite a lot. Oh, and that one very close. But yeah, they can actually, if they choose to, signal in or out immediately, the game advisors. Same way you see them with offsides. No one's asking them to give their opinion, but they can give that active advice.
It's so hard to tell. And to be honest, I think sending it back is the right decision here, because we looked at two angles, and I feel like both teams would feel that's evidence to their point of view, in or out.
You might have to check his cleats for any chalk.
It is early in the morning, so maybe the paint is a little moist. Nomadic Tribe looking to halt this 3-0 run from Goat since the Japanese got on the board first, and that's well done. Nemoto to Hona, and it's 3-2.
Looked like Goat were playing a forced middle for quite some time at that point. A tactic employed by many North American teams when facing teams from Southeast Asia. And a point you made earlier about the youngsters in this Goat team, they've transitioned so well from quite an older squad to these new young guns, fitting in seamlessly. Often you'll see teams go through development years where they'll kind of fall at the wayside as they transition to a younger squad, but the likes of Burrell, Hurst, Slatic coming from Slovenia, fitting in seamlessly, and they never had an off year, really, Goat. And both Mackenzies, maybe just too much maple syrup on their pancakes this morning, have not found themselves playing the ultimate they want in this game.
Certainly a shaky start for both of those brothers, but I doubt they will be deterred. They are both fierce competitors, strong defensively especially. Goat on offense. Last time Goat was on 0, they were trailing 1-0, and they held with a turnover-free offensive point. Antioch Berloni, 41 years old now, a couple years away from matching his number on the back of his jersey. He's 41, he's playing in his first World Ultimate Club Championships. Connor Armstrong also playing in his first World Ultimate Club Championships, but he won a silver medal at Junior Worlds, was named the Canada Male Ultimate Athlete of the Year a couple years back. Thompson McKnight, 31-year-old center handler.
This is a nice Japanese zone look here, quite passive. Allowing Goat to play small ball, but containing them well, and they look a little frustrated here.
Yeah, Liam, we talked about this during the Nomadic Tribe Italy game. Nice layout grab there by Hurst. Nomadic Tribe doesn't hurry to set a mark. They try to cut off the throwing lanes first and foremost. Wide open lane for the hammer, and Harris delivers his second assist. Berloni in the end zone for Goat, and it's 4-2.
Yeah, another clean 0 point for Goat. But I like that look from Nomadic Tribe, I think. Put some pressure on them at times. And yeah, it's such a strange zone look. As you said, often not putting the force on for several seconds, shutting down the downfield lanes. And they changed from quite saggy in the lanes to then quite tight, and then just seem to move as a unit so well.
Smooth offense for Goat. Berloni with his 4th goal of the tournament. Goat doubling up Nomadic Tribe so far. Toronto trying to get to 8-0. And it sure would be a tasty semifinal, presuming that Revolver can get past the French, take down Chuck, which they are certainly highly favored to do. Goat, Revolver, there's a lot of history between Toronto and San Francisco.
Yeah, I've already had one scare from a European team, Revolver. Free Speed giving a run for their money.
That was an amazing game yesterday. Free Speed took half 8-7, led 11-10 before Revolver took it 15-12. Good defense by Yearwood. And then Yearwood fell asleep for just a split second, and his man Ken Nemoto got the open dish upfield. Nomadic Tribe has not had a turnover-free offensive point yet. It's interesting, Liam, how when Japanese throwers are holding the disc and pivoting, they often have two hands on the disc. And seemingly it's to threaten the mark with every possible release angle. Hori with another goal. And for the first time, Nomadic Tribe with clean offense down the field.
Yeah, much better spacing this time for the Nomadic Tribe team. I see Taku Hona getting another assist, part of the World Games team. from last year, so need players like him to step it up.
Well, they're hanging around. It's 4-3. This Nomadic Tribe team already assured of a better finish than they had 4 years ago in Lecco when they finished 11th place. They lost in the round of 16 4 years ago in Italy. But the dramatic win over Bologna yesterday, and you figure that'll be a learning experience and a motivating one for the Italians. They certainly feel like they have a rising program, and they had aspirations of maybe making a run to the semifinals. Certainly the quarters disappointing from their perspective, but they ran into a really hot Japanese team, and that's a difficult task.
Yeah, these are character building moments. Come to these tournaments, and whether you get a big win or a big loss. And here we see the Nomadic Tribe zone backing off on the mark. Just within the 10 feet you have to be to put a force on.
Here's Cam Harris. I think Harris has gotten more well-known in recent years, but certainly one of the great throwers in the world. He's one of those players that can fire deep with the disc looking like it's magnetically attracted to the receiver's hands.
Yeah, foul call downfield. Looked like Burrell just pushed off the Tribe player as he was going deep. And I love how the deep defenders in this Japanese zone have their head on a swivel the whole time. They have such great vision and awareness, constantly stealing a look when they can. Now transitioning to an honest defense.
Burrell keeps it alive. And McKnight unable to make the catch on the dump. Goat is up 2 breaks. Nomadic Tribe with a chance to get one back here.
Travel called on Ishii.
You wondered, Liam, how this Goat O-line, if they turn it over, would be able to play defense against the Nomadic Tribe speed. And there's the first break of the game for the Japanese. Ishii finding the open space in that right side of the end zone. And it's 4-4 in this first half.
I really enjoyed watching that Nomadic Tribe zone. And Go look a little startled in how to play offense against it. Burrell rescuing the disc from the sideline, but the swing doesn't come off, and they waste no time, Tribe. Their D-line offense has been very good. And again, they're relying on their throwers to get players open as opposed to their cutters. It's very much a North American style, is like isolate someone in the lane and let them get free, let them use their pace. Well, there's a contrast there to Japanese ultimate where they're like, we're going to throw people open. Sometimes there he didn't even move. He was just standing in the stack. So it's often the handler's job to make plays happen.
I was chatting with this gentleman, Yota Yoshida, before the game. He's wearing a Cincinnati Bengals visor. I said, did you get that here in Cincinnati? He said, yeah. And I said, I'm sorry to tell you this, but the Bengals are not very good. He said, what? No! Even without a great depth of English for most of these Japanese players. They're still very friendly, very accommodating, very happy. A fun team to be in the vicinity of. They exude an enthusiasm and positivity for this sport.
As we get the aerial shot there of this Japanese zone, you can see how dynamic it is. Often the player on the mark just covers downfield, leaves the stall, and it's confusing as an offensive player as to what they're doing.
And you see the gradual transition into man defense. There's a pick downfield. Armstrong keeps it alive.
You know, Tribe hasn't played particularly well this game, especially in the earlier points, but they're still tied with goal, and they can take pride in that. You know, we haven't been firing on all cylinders, but we're tied.
Armstrong Scuba for Kelly up the line, and shy of the end zone was Arsenal. No, he was in. They're going to give him credit for the goal. Kelly to Arsenal, and it's 5-4.
Fancy footwork by Arsenal. They get that one in the end zone. Again, we have our game advisors on standby if needed to discuss rules or help with the decision making. I think one of the reasons why we have game advisors goes back to a Canada-Japan game in 2012. Definitely a catalyst for having game advisors.
Say that again. You weren't in Sakai for that, were you?
I was not in Sakai, no, I was not. Not doing any commentary back then, but I was playing quite a lot. But it was expensive to get to, so I don't think there was a huge turnout from the Europeans. But I think if it was to go back to somewhere in Southeast Asia, you'll have a greater turnout now with Ultimate growing.
Well, you're talking about a Canada versus Japan bracket play game at the World Ultimate Guts Championship in 2012. One of the infamous games in Ultimate history. How did you feel as a European player, as an Irish player, as an Ultimate player, and how did that game change your opinions?
Yeah, there was that highlight reel, or maybe it should be called low light reel, that someone supercut that did not reflect well in either team. And I think it's just one of those situations where there's one bad bid and that cascades into lots of bad bids. And I think maybe there should have been a spare timeout earlier in that game, and I would have met a lot of those players, and they're all nice guys.
Yep.
And I think I like that we have game advisors now, just for keeping in time limits there to settle people down. I still want to keep this a self-refereed sport. I think it's something that makes Ultimate unique. But yeah, like, this is a fantastically spirited game so far.
Komori over to Nakao. Caught the game-winning goal for Bologna against Bologna yesterday. And there was contact in the dump set. Vasiliev and Nomoto colliding. Vasiliev with a bow, presumably an apology.
Yeah, one of the best handler defenders, Vasiliev. We've seen him on both sides of the Atlantic.
And not a guy who shies away from contact, that's for sure. Up the line, and they squeeze it through. And Nomoto wants a new disc.
The disc may be getting sandwiched, quite like the player. And the last upline cut.
And they're going to keep it. I'm honestly not sure what the rule is, Liam. If the teams disagree and one wants a new disc and one doesn't, it would be poor form for Goat to get a turnover and then ask for a new disc. From the middle of the field, Takuya over to Nakao, and here's Ori. Kamori continues the smooth offense. And a travel was called.
Kamori, another one of those World Games players. Been a little quiet so far in this first half, but you'd expect him to step it up.
Oh, tremendous defense there. You knew it was coming. Ian McKenzie is too good of a player to only make mistakes. And Ian McKenzie's shaken up. He got up from that bid pretty quickly, jogged toward the stack formation, and then kind of went down in a heap, and Isaiah Masekele's coming in.
Yeah, that's the second time this has happened now where an injury is called by the bidding player and they get to bring Masekele on, which is probably a big advantage.
I was chatting about this with Ian Toner the other day. As Vasiliev takes the shot, Mario Zlatic near the sideline, out of bounds. And a pick happened before the throw. Is Goat gonna keep this disc? It appears so.
If you ask me, I don't think they should, you know.
No.
I don't think it was the pick that caused him to throw it out of bounds there.
Not at all. Something we should watch for is whether Ian McKenzie comes back into the game on defense if Goat scores here, and whether there should be a conversation about a rule if you take an injury, should you have to sit out a certain number of points, even if it's just 1 point or 2 points?
Yeah, Vasiliev with the disc who threw that huck out of bounds, probably going back. He called injury earlier, and they brought on Masekele. And it was McKnight's turn to take the knee and come off the field for Masekele. So I know there was controversy in rugby for quite some time about blood injury subs. They're often faking injuries to get fresh legs on the field. Not suggesting it's happening here, but unusual to see Masekele coming on twice in these situations.
This game had a pretty good pace to it. It has slowed down here. But the paces were too quick on the other couple of fields. U.S. women's teams are routing their opponents right now. Molly Brown took half 8-1 on Atlanta Ozone, and Seattle Riot took half 8-1 on the Sixers. Well, it's looking like a Riot Molly Brown semifinal on one side of the women's bracket. Jason Huynh. Anatoly Vasiliev. And a timeout. No, it's just a pick. Disc in the hands of Jackie Howe. You hope that this game doesn't devolve into a slew of pick calls. Two teams are so talented, you don't want to see a game transform like that. Keffer finds Masekele, and there is no call. It is a Goat break, their third of the half, to lead 6-4. Cole Keffer, and his rugby background, he's developed pretty good disc skills, and coming in midpoint, Masekele makes an impact. He scores the goal. 6-4 Goat.
If you want to be a high performer, eat like one. Start with a balanced diet and drink plenty of water. Good nutrition is one of the best ways to boost your mental and your physical health.
Stand by. Isaiah Massick-Kelly has become a star in Canadian Ultimate.
Cole Keffer with the assist there. And as you said, a rugby player as well. Strikes me as a scrum half. Gets around the field very well.
You play rugby?
I played rugby in school back in the day. It's not a sport I think you want to play casually because you're going to hurt your body. That's just the truth of it. So you want to be getting money if you're going to be sacrificing limbs.
Ojo active on the mark of Hori. Reset to Namoto. Otani throws past Edwards, and Takuya called for a travel. Dan LaFrance on the mark, made the call. Appeared to be a good one. Bluffing the huck. Kamori holstered to Nakao. Nomadic Tribe looking for its second turnover-free offensive hold of this game. And they got it, but not without a little grass stain. Kamori bids to haul in the Hona floater.
Yeah, good hold there from Nomadic Tribe. And you mentioned earlier how a lot of these players hold a disc in two hands, and I think that's becoming more common in North American and European Ultimate. As he made him work for that one there. I think a lot to do with the lefty backhand, or the offhand backhand has become so popular in this sport. So rather than holding the disc in the flick grip, you're holding with two hands, allowing you to throw that quick lefty if you're a right-handed player.
It's amazing how well the top players throw with both hands seamlessly. I feel like 10 years ago that wasn't a thing you saw except for a few rare exceptions, and now, you know, guys who are D-line cutters have excellent offhand throws for top teams.
Yeah, I've essentially abandoned the short field flick. I'll just use my lefty quite a lot now. I'm actually left-handed in life, but throw frisbee with my right hand.
Why is that?
I'm not quite sure why. Just happened.
There's a lot of things about you that are a little backwards, and that's another. Gotola with Armstrong, McKnight, Ochterlony, Hurst, Harris, Boychuk, and Barbieri this time. No Ben Burrell. Here's Harris. You can tell when Harris got that disc, the left corner over there, Andy Ochterlony in the bottom right of our screen, kind of diagonal from Harris, was thinking about taking off deep. Hashiguchi is the deep in the zone. There goes Ochterlony again, but McKnight holsters. Goat biding its time, taking yardage slowly. That hammer, not, oh, what a catch by Harris to keep possession alive. When that left the thrower's hands, it didn't look like he had a chance.
Yeah, astonishing grab there. As you said, I was certain that was going to be a turnover, but rescues it.
Harris is unfairly lanky. Armstrong surveys downfield, doesn't see anything. Hurst takes the shot, and it's a beauty. Barbieri just camped out in that back corner, and Hurst realized he had to put a little sauce on it, and he fired it in with some gusto.
For quite some time, that Nomadic Tribe zone was very passive. They're allowing them to swing, but then all of a sudden they become very aggressive on Hurst.
With the mark that denies the dump. That surprised me as well.
Yeah, I still can't figure out what the set rules are in this zone. I don't think there is any. I think they trust players to decide to jump in and out of positions, just feeling it out.
Cameron Harris, a hero for keeping this point alive, and it was very close to finding grass. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't a discussion about whether that was up or down or not. And they picked the wrong player to squeeze in on their Tribe. Hurst not afraid to take the more difficult shot.
Hurst, a guy with some European experience, played in Belgium. He was studying abroad. Well, Nomadic Tribe needs to hold here, otherwise Goat will take it to half. Toronto will receive to start the second half as well. So if Goat breaks here, it'd be really an opportunity for Toronto to almost put the game away. Deep shot goes up, looking for Nakao. Arsenault defensively tips it, and Nakao catches it anyway. Holy cow! Kentaro Nakao hauls in the deflected disc for Nomadic Tribe.
Take a bow, son. Does so well to keep his concentration and his balance. Has to almost step around the Goat defender to get there.
Gotta feel like a punch in the gut for Arsenault. You make this unbelievable block and you get nothing to show for it.
Often you hear people say, catch your D's, but that one only in reach of his fingertips, and did so well not to clean out the Japanese player. Great body control, and unfortunately he doesn't get the D, but he'll be proud of himself in that athletic bid. Now a chance to take half, coming out in offense. Surprised they didn't take a timeout here. They have some left in the back pocket.
Maybe saving it for the point. Still no Ben Burrell, their leading goal scorer, who caught their first goal of the game. Looking for him on the sidelines. He's standing on that far side, looking fine. Adrian Yearwood joins this O-line this time. Boychuk and Yearwood were in the middle of the cutting core. Harris and Berloni on the outsides with Hurst, McKnight, and Armstrong.
For the first time in a while, we see Tribe come out with a match defense, not throwing out that zone.
Well, Goat's O-line has only turned the disc one time in this game. And Nomadic Tribe did convert that into a break. Floated to Boychuk up the line nicely. Yearwood holstered it, now fires crossfield. Berloni and Harris both there, and it's Harris who hauls it in. And Goat takes half, 8-6.
Yeah, stellar performance from his Goat O-line so far. As you said, surprised not to see Burrell on this line.
It's a veteran throw from Yearwood. Takes some chutzpah to fire that one crossfield, but Harris runs it down, and we go to the half. 8-6, Toronto in the lead in the quarterfinals.
There is a place where we are us at our best.
A place where everyone is welcome.
Regardless of age, shape, skin color, or anything else that tries to box people in.
A place where we defy the odds.
And even defy gravity.
A place that knows grit, knows grace, knows bright lights, and knows empty bleachers.
A place where we remember to laugh.
Where we learn to trust.
And eventually, even learn to fly.
A place where character, community, and competition
are all as balanced as a disc in flight.
That place isn't in a stadium or on a field.
That place is in the spirit of our players.
Because we don't just play Ultimate, we live Ultimate.
We are at the half on the showcase field at the World Ultimate Club Championships. Evan Lepler, Liam Grant, our entire crew. Privileged to be with you. Little potassium addition for Cam Harris as GOAT leads 8-6. The other quarterfinal that's happening now in the men's division, Revolver leading Francis Chalk 10-6. Last we've heard. So there's still work to do and some work being done on Nomadic Tribe in the midst of their huddle.
I have no idea what's going on here. Having a bit of hammer and nail action. Trying to mend some legs. Let's see if he takes out a saw or a drill.
Let's hope not. A light massage, perhaps. Nomadic Tribe turned it over twice on the opening point and then scored. They haven't turned it over twice on any point since. They got one break back, but they've also been broken 3 times through this first half. And this was nearly a Callahan for Jackie Howe. GOAT's defense is really the difference in this game. Greg Ellis coming up with the block. He would pay it off with the bookends. Nathan Hurst, very involved in everything GOAT has done. And you know, maybe it was on that play that perhaps shook Burrell up. We'll see if he's on the field in the second half. Certainly the play of that half was the Alec Arsenault deflection and the ensuing layout grab by Kentaro Nakao. That throw will certainly merit some scrutiny, both the throw and whether it touched grass. Here's the Arsenault play. Nakao keeping it alive. That made it 7-6, but then a turnover free hold. The game is really cleaned up, Liam. 7 of the last 9 points have been turnover-free offensive holds. And we're at the half. Sachin Raina and Thompson McKnight addressing this GOAT huddle. If they win, they will likely face Revolver.
Yeah, Revolver at 10-6 up now on French side Shaq. We're seeing them eat a lot of bananas there, the GOAT side. I was actually in Old Trafford before a couple of years ago. Got a tour of the stadium. I went into the changing rooms and there's one of the managers there and he says, every halftime they put out bananas on a table and they almost force every player to eat it, and it's the only thing they're allowed to eat. They'll be in trouble if they eat anything else, so reminiscent of that top sports team here.
Well, there's the top end view of this complex, a massive facility. The Lebanon Sports Complex outside of Cincinnati, home of the World Ultimate Club Championships. Quarterfinal Thursday, second half between GOAT and Nomadic Tribe coming up. humorous moment here at halftime in this quarterfinal game. A berth in the World Championship semifinals are on the line. Toronto Goats started playing spike ball. They've been really trying to work for a spike ball sponsorship. They say they play more spike ball than Ultimate. And then some of the Japanese players came over and got in on the spike ball fun. And there was a lighthearted moment at the half of what's otherwise an intense game. Check this out. I've never seen spike ball played with this many people, Liam. But the Japanese players enjoying the moment. Little victories are what count. And enjoying yourself, a crucial element of the World Championship Ultimate experience.
Yeah, that could be a momentum swinging moment in this game.
You would think.
We also saw the Goat lads kicking the football around at halftime. I always think it's cute when you see North Americans trying to kick a football.
In America, it's a soccer ball.
Well, if you see it, they actually are using their feet to kick the ball, which would imply it's a football. We had this discussion earlier about football and hand egg, and I'm sticking to my guns on this one.
Well, Japan is going to have to pull to start this second half. And they're already down 8-6. And they've only forced one turnover from the Toronto O-line. There's Burrell conversing. Didn't see him the last few points of the first half, but also didn't see him getting any medical attention. The leading goal scorer for Goat in this tournament. And this is interesting. Nomadic Tribe basically has 7 on the line, ready to go. And Goat's having too much fun.
Yeah, good game of volley and knots going on here.
Coming up in the next round, on this field, San Francisco Fury and Boston Brute Squad. Women's quarterfinal action, All-American quarter. And on the adjacent field, Raleigh's Ring of Fire from the United States against Australia's Colony from Sydney. What are your thoughts about that Ring Colony game, Liam?
Yeah, I saw Colony earlier on in the week be quite shaky in Shack, but Shack have shown their quarterfinal team. But they're starting to use, I think, Mickle and Kocher a little more effectively. They're known for their crazy athleticism, the Australians, but sometimes not the greatest decision makers. But with the likes of Kocher and Mickle now taking a more advanced role, making those decisions, they can beat any side here.
Revolver's now opened up a 6-goal lead on Chalk. It's 13-7. So presumably Revolver will close that out. And we'll see who will face the #1 seed in the semifinals tomorrow at 9 a.m. Both men's semifinals, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Both women's semifinals, 11 a.m. Both mixed semifinals, 1 p.m. local time, Eastern time, here in Ohio. Nomadic Tribe has long been the little brother in Japanese Ultimate. But there are no buzz bullets here at the World Championships in 2018, so can Nomadic Tribe deliver a second half comeback and represent their country in the semifinals? McKnight, Armstrong, Yearwood, Hurst, Boychuk, Harris, and Ochterlony. Harris coming now behind the disc. I would be interested to see, Liam, an American team practice this Japanese zone a ton and see if they could use it to their benefit, because it is definitely unique and it works for the Japanese. Clearly they practice it a lot, but there's Nathan Hurst, excited to get the D back.
Yeah, the man oozes swag on the field, doesn't he, Evan?
Just the second turnover from Goat's O-line in the game. Harris coming back to that disc. And you saw the Japanese player, he could have maybe bid for that, But if he had bid and didn't get it, then there would have been a wide open lane on that side of the field. So he kind of retreated, sacrificing that short-term gain for long-term stability. And that's the discipline with which these Japanese teams usually play.
Yeah, their awareness is top-notch. We see Wada in this zone with a backwards upside-down visor, which seems rather strange. Again, mind games going on here.
Yearwood with a fake may have caught Ishii in the jaw. Yearwood seems apologetic and Ishii seems okay, so they're able to laugh about it. Hurst, we've seen him fire to the end zone from this spot. Takes the reset. You hear a call from the sideline. Appears the Japanese are matching up, but no one found Harris. And he has an open lane to the end zone. He floats it, and Boychuk delivers. Elevates and skies for the score. That's a situation where maybe Harris breaks the mark anyway, but he was a jump shooter with a lot of time and space to survey and fire.
Yeah, with the likes of Boychuk cutting, they're going to get separation, you know. Him and whether it's Burrell, Hurst. But you have to throw a bit more bladey. You don't want it to hang up because they are not gigantic men. And Hurst does so well to get this back. He's been the standout player for Goat so far this game. We're talking about possible semi-final matchups, etc. And I think Colony could be one of the best hopes of stopping the USA clean sweep. Revolution as well. I think maybe more difficult in the women's division just because there's 5 US women's teams there. Going to be less than that now, but only 3 USA teams in the men's division.
Well, Revolution has already beaten Molly Brown. They play the Japanese team in the quarterfinals next round. They will face an American team if they advance to the semifinals, either Brute Squad or Fury. Either one would be a titanic task. But Revolution has been up to those tasks before. Looking long for Komori, and he's got it. He beats Mike McKenzie in a perfect put to the back of the end zone.
How fast was Komori there? I thought McKenzie would have some kind of closing down speed, but could never catch up to him. It does well to kind of step across McKenzie, denying him a bid.
That's a great point. Subtly, he just took a step to his right, using his body.
McKenzie seemed more focused on fixing his hat as he was chasing that one down. You got to look good to play good.
Maybe that was your and my problem.
Yeah, I've never worn a hat in my life. Anyone who knows me well is aware of that fact. When you get hot hair like this, Evan, you got to flaunt it, you know?
I don't know. Mike McKenzie's got some pretty good hair. He still got the backwards cap. Still no Burrell for the Goat offense. Harito Hashiguchi ready to pull. He has often lingered in the deep space as the back end of the zone. You've got Nishinaka and Ishii racing down, and Nomadic Tribe matches up. Berloni, guarded by Tashiro. Yearwood had to come to that disc. Yamaguchi was nearby, looking for Berloni, and that will land incomplete. But there was a call, a foul back on the throw. No contest. Adrian Yearwood has had a lengthy and illustrious ultimate career. Represented Canada many times. McKnight, the big swing. From the sideline to nearly the other. Now changing the angle of attack. Armstrong wound up but holstered. And now McKnight swings to Yearwood. Hurst. Armstrong. Near the sideline, Boychuk is in.
Great use of the whole field there from Toronto Goat. You could see that the Tri players were clogging the lane, forcing them wide, and they do just that. Getting in on the sideline.
10-7 Goat, second half.
Do you want to avoid overuse injuries? Cross-train. Get your exercise routine out of a routine and mix it up with a variety of activities. Your muscles, tendons, and joints will thank you later.
A game to 15, it's 10-7. Goat leading Nomadic Tribe. Winner on to the semifinals, loser will compete for 5th place. No breaks so far in the second half, Liam. 4 total breaks in the game, 3 for Goat, 1 for Nomadic Tribe, and one thing that Goat can work on this afternoon if they do advance and head on to the semifinals, they're pulling inbounds in particular.
Again, I'm still not sure if it's a tactic employed by them. I've seen it done before. And you know, watching this game so far, do I think Nomadic Tribe can win the game? And the answer is yes. You know, I still feel like they have a few tricks up their sleeve. I have a feeling they might go on a little run here before this game is out.
If they're going to make their move, it needs to be soon. Nakao. Downfield, it's Horry. Nakao comes back to the disc, takes the shot. Kamori racing to the end zone, and he'll get there first. Inbounds, and Jeff Powell is shaken up, stumbling to the ground in pain.
Kamori is making the Canadian boys look slow right now. He has been blisteringly fast, has such good turnover. When I say turnover, I mean that the rate in which his legs touch the ground.
See if you can see anything with Powell, right side of your screen, the end of this play, and it looked like before even Kamori caught the disc, a step before Powell, he did get up and hobbled off the back of the field, and now getting looked at by the athletic trainer.
Yeah, looks like he may have hurt his pride in the last one.
So another turnover free hold. That's now 7 of the last 8 points and 10 of the last 12. Only had 1 turnover free point in the first 5 points of this game, but it has become quite clean.
And this O-line, debatably the best O-line I've seen at the tournament. They've looked rock solid
And
McKnight,
look, number 73, Ben Burrell, back on the field.
Yeah, good to see him back out there. I think McKnight has been exceptional for me. Nothing too flashy and just allowing this offense to flow.
Yeah, he's never necessarily been the #1 guy you talk about when it comes to the GOAT offense, but he always has a high completion percentage. He's certainly sure-handed, and his decision-making usually doesn't hurt his team.
And this tribe zone is so unpredictable at times, and that's very scary for throwers, you know, and that's something to do exceptionally well. It's lack of structure somehow.
Looking for Burrell. Nakashima drills him from behind, and Burrell displeased. And Burrell already has the disc, anticipating he'll be able to walk to the end zone line and have it.
Yeah, it looks like a clear foul to me. He's signaling for maybe a translator.
What's to translate?
Sorry, I presume he's looking for...
Right as Burrell's getting ready to go up, he gets drilled from behind.
Game advisor checking his watch there. You may hear some whistle sound suggesting that this conversation has gone on long enough. Thought this one would be a bit more clean cut. When you have position like Burrell did, it's very hard for him to be in the wrong, you know? He held that very well. You see him nodding along with the game advisor.
It's Wally Kwong sharing his opinion. And now pointing to the watch and saying, let's go, boys. And you see the reaction from Cam Harris and Jay Boychuk. Ben Burrell not pleased either. This is going to be a contested foul, and one that, frankly, doesn't reflect well on Nomadic Tribe.
And a few of the Go players letting their frustration be known.
It's a 10-8 game. And if GOAT were to make a mistake and Nomadic Tribe could capitalize, it would get very juicy heading down the stretch. Back short of midfield, McKnight. That's just not Thompson's throw. He had Burrell open by 4 or 5 steps with some space. But that's the conservative nature of McKnight's game. And one of the reasons that they don't get broken very often. If Cam Harris had that disc, there's no doubt that throw's going up. That's why the Harris-McKnight throwing duo is a nice yin-yang.
Yeah, Hurst on the disc now. Looks like he'll stay with him after the pick call. Don't think a really effective play. He's a little frustrated right now, but has played exceptional in this game. Always getting free when needed with those lateral cuts. It's going to go back. As we can clearly see the height difference in these two teams right now.
Onishi and Armstrong side by side. It's gone final over on an adjacent field. Revolver 15-8 over Chalk. So officially the top seed in the semifinals. GOAT trying to meet them there. 9 a.m. tomorrow. The two men's semifinals, they'll both be on the WIFDF Showcase fields. We'll have live coverage of each.
Big upline gainer from Hurst. Looks like it will stay with him this time.
Hurst breaks the mark, and Harris lands in bounds. Goat shows off the patience yet again and holds turnover free to make it 11-8.
Hurst getting another assist on the board. Threw that earlier hook to Burrell, which ended up going back. Nice to have a receiver like Cam Harris cutting in the lane again for you.
Goat certainly loose on the sidelines. Cam Harris out of the University of Guelph. His story of ultimate genesis. His older brother wanted to impress a girl in high school, so he forced younger brother Cam to throw with him so he could then impress the girl. And he's been playing ever since, and his brother married that girl.
Well, that's a good story, Evan. Definitely in Ireland, if you wanted to impress someone in school, playing Ultimate was a good way to do that. Not to do it, should I say. Often getting strange looks from the rugby players, the Gaelic football players. But happy to be in the alternative sport myself.
Macau feeds the middle. That disc through the hands of the 19 shirt Otani. Looking for McKenzie. Back of the end zone, and he bobbles it, and he tipped it back from out of bounds. So give Takuya credit, never gave up on the play, and Goat gives it right back.
Takuya took up a great position there. Maybe got a better read on the disc, and that just put a lot of pressure on McKenzie.
Arsenal making it tough on Hona to take possession. Sneaking it past Vasiliev, and he bumps Namoto, who plays through it. Nasa Kelly has the Kamori task. Deep shot goes up looking for Otani. And from the backside, that Jackie Howe delivers the block. Into the hands of Vasiliev. To Mike McKenzie. And a pick downfield will stay with Masekeli. Masekeli takes the timeout, former U19 and U23 player representing Canada out of York University. Gorgeous drone shots of our showcase field.
Looks like they've repainted that WFDF logo.
I was just thinking the same thing.
I can see a few players with blue, red, and black marks up their legs. Many of the paint being transferred onto our top athletes here.
Have to imagine that now there have been some decent crowds here throughout the week. Tomorrow morning, when the semifinals begin at 9 o'clock and continue through 3 o'clock, there's going to be an electric feel on these showcase pitches.
Yeah, I'd say that stand on the far side is going to be jam-packed and all around the fields. It's been a great tournament so far, and well done to everyone involved in running it. I know a few WFDF tournaments in the past have had their fair share of unfortunate weather. Lecco and London spring to mind, but the weather is smiling upon us now here in Cincinnati. It's hot, but we're not being Leccoed right now.
No, here not. Knock on wood. This is an offensive point for Japan, but they've turned it twice, so Goat has a chance to break for the first time in the second half. It was 8-6 at half, Goat receiving to start the second. Vacillated between a 2 and 3 goal game ever since. And a foul called on Arsenal, pushing off presumably on Hori.
I see this coming out in a 3-4 horizontal stack, Toronto, and doing that classic Peppermill style cut, one person in, one person out of the throwing lane.
This back in play. Masik Kelly lasers it for Vasiliev. McKenzie gets open on Hona. Fires it deep. Zlatic in the end zone. Mike McKenzie delivers a strike. And Goat breaks. It's their largest lead of the game.
Zlatic, the break machine. We see him get the only break of the game earlier on this tournament against Colin, and he's done it again. Loves to get free in the end zone, the Slovenian.
Earlier in the point, deep shot did not connect. Nice play by Takuya, recovering there. But then at the other end, the huck denied by Howe, and here's McKenzie. For a second, it looked like Nakao might have a play on it, but it's Zlatic. Another big goal for Toronto. So Goat starting to taste it. 3 scores away. Got to be closing in on the time cap too. It's 10:33 local time. Presumably 10 or 11 minutes away.
Yeah, and Goat find themselves with a comfortable cushion to sit on now. And going by how well this O-line has played, very difficult task for Tribe to get back into this one.
Again, the only thing that Goat has not done well today consistently is pull.
More evidence for my conspiracy theory here, Evan, that maybe throwing out of bounds on purpose.
You're clinging to that, are you?
You know, I got some evidence. I'm gonna do some research.
Komori, low throw, stays up for Hori. Nomadic Tribe moving quickly down the field. Takuya, Hori, around the edge for Otani. Jeremy Norden active on the mark. Takuya chased by Huynh. Ellis over pursued. Namoto forced to bid, slowed him up. Nomadic Tribe got the first 60 yards pretty quickly. They've been stifled on the goal line until now. And it is Katsuhide Hori again, turnover free hold. But they're gonna need some breaks. And they've only gotten one in the game so far. It's 12-9.
Much better flow from the Japanese side there on their offense. Again, looked like Goat had attempted that forced middle to try and shut them down, but they were still able to hit a few insides to stretch the defense. But this is what all about, is what this Nomadic Tribe D-line can muster up. Because holding their 0 points not enough right now. They need a couple of breaks.
Sachin Raina, former player on GOAT. They used to call him the best pull catcher in the world because he would catch the pull, throw to Thompson, and then just, hang out. Maybe they need him for a reset. It was a good job. He's a few years younger than Antioch Berloni, who's still out there playing. They went to the same school, McMaster University, Sachin and Andy O. And Sachin was telling me that Ochterlony, the year after he left, came back to teach a one-day ultimate frisbee course. This was in 2001, and that was the first day that a young Sachin Raina met Andy Ochterlony. I think every college should have a divisional. Every single undergrad has to take a one-day ultimate frisbee course.
Sounds good to me. You say he's a great pull catcher. By any chance he's a good pull thrower? Because if so, they should maybe get him back on the roster.
I think his skill set was limited to catching the pull. Cam Harris. Finally, McKnight gets free for the reset. And a defender nearby, but Hashiguchi had no angle on Armstrong, who fires deep. Harris and Burrell both there. Nagashima for Japan, but it's Harris shy of the end zone that comes down with it, pushes off, and delivers the score. Nathan Hurst makes it 13-9. Harris over Nagashima. Cam Harris can do more than just throw it. Unlike Sachin Raina, he is a versatile threat. Gets away with a little shove and gets GOAT one goal closer to the semifinals.
Heat illness strikes kids and adults alike during summer workouts. Watch for muscle cramps, fever, nausea, headache, weakness, or feeling faint. Act fast to get cool and get fluids.
Less than 5 minutes away from the cap, but Toronto would still need to score to win. Out there on defense after the Hurst goal, leading by 4. I think you said at 10-7 that you still felt Nomadic Tribe could win this game. Do you still believe it at 13-9?
Yes, I do.
I imagine Horry making that play would give you more belief, and David Hochhalter's D shrinks that belief a little bit.
It looked like a pin-perfect throw when it first came out. I'm not sure what Horry was doing. I thought he was going to step across and get that one.
David Hochhalter, the veteran.
Set up in a side stack now. The GOAT D-line.
Quinn over to Hochhalter, and right back. It's Toli Vasiliev. Born in St. Petersburg, Russia, has spent much of his life living in Canada, both Toronto and Vancouver. Here's Hochhalter shooting it long. That disc is going to get D'd. Intended for Howe, but Yuki Otani delivers the block.
Coming in like a freight train on defense there, restoring my belief, Evan. In between the gigantic Toronto players, but comes out on top, getting the block in early.
It's the 7th turnover of the game for Goat. Only 2 of those turns have come from the Goat O-line. Otani, a yard shy of the bookends. Takuya over to Nemoto. And there's Takuya in the end zone.
There was some good recovery defense there by Goat. As that disc moved down the field, they never gave up, held tight, and eventually the Tribe player is able to get it in. Two great defensive plays in that point. Anything you can do, I can do as well. That's what Tribe are saying. And it looks like white gloves, quite the trend, maybe in Japanese Ultimate. I don't know if that's just to match their jerseys.
Are you a glove wearer when you play?
Absolutely not. I play a lot of Gaelic football as well, and in that sport it's kind of looked down upon if you wear gloves, and it's probably a better sport to wear gloves. But for that reason, based on what other people would think of me for wearing gloves, that's why I don't. I do care quite a lot what other people think about me, Evan.
Hurst, McKnight, Armstrong, Harris, Boychuk, Yearwood, and Burrell.
As you see this Tribe zone bending and flexing at strange moments, and the sideline very vocal. I have no idea what they're saying, but it's working.
It morphs from a 3-2-2 to a 3-3-1 to a 2-3-2 seamlessly. Just the 3rd turn of the game for the Goat offense. And goodness, Goat gets it right back. Just heard the whistle for 100 minutes, so you'll add 1 to the higher score after this. If Goat scores, it'll still be a game to 15.
And I'm not sure if this zone is like incredibly complex, or in fact the opposite and just very loose, because they just seem to do strange things that work out well for them, yet
over the leaping Yamaguchi and fortuitously finding Hurst. Certainly not Goat's prettiest points of the game, but the kind of play that says it's going to be your day.
You see the flags in the background now bellowing in the wind. I think the wind just picked up there. I thought Yamaguchi was going to make that play. I think he did as well.
Here's the D from Armstrong, using the long arms to take it back. And it almost looked like it was intended for Takayuki Yamaguchi, but Hurst stayed with it. And sometimes, you're at the mercy of the elements, Liam. 175 grams of plastic. It can wobble with the wind. It can wobble into your grasp and out of your grasp. And sometimes that's how championships are determined.
Yeah, maybe Yamaguchi committing to that bid a little too early. Probably had time to wait for it to come down a little lower and get there before Hurst. But everything going the Canadians' way. Nathan Hurst, sensational performance in this game.
Only been one break in the second half. Goat stretched the lead to 12-8. Nomadic Tribe only with one break in the game. That tied the score at 4 in the first half, but then a hold and a break made it 6-4. Goat trailed 1-0, but then took a 3-1 lead and has not trailed since. Been really impressed with the number 4 shirt, Taku Hona. Composed, athletic, sure-handed, fiery, and disciplined. If you can be all those things in one package.
I think it's pretty obvious you can be, as you see him now launching a hook.
And just a yard too far for Komori.
Difficult man to overthrow. He's been fantastic sprinting deep.
First time we've seen Komori not able to track it down, but Goat can't complete a pass. And Namoto floats into the end zone. Ojo's bid, he claims he had it. Japan celebrating like it's a score.
Otani deciding just to run away from any discussion there, but it's going to be called a goal.
And now Ojo retracts the call. We get the benefit of instant replay, and of course, there is the monitor here, the big board. Oh, that was very close.
I think when it's as close as that was, you got to usually side with the offensive player.
And it may have been a split second first for Otani. So each team turned it over once on the point. It's 14-11. Game to 15. Nomadic Tribe would need 4 breaks in a row to win.
Interestingly, every time Goat leave the field, a lot of their players seeking shade, getting out of the heat, not really stacking the sidelines, trying to get out of that hot, humid sun, get some water in. On the other hand, you have Tribe very much so out on the sideline, being a little more vocal. They'll need every voice now.
Hashiguchi with a pull. It'll land in bounds. Burrell, Harris, Boychuk, and Ochterlony across the horizontal stack. Hurst, Yearwood, and Armstrong. No Thompson McKnight on this point. Yearwood swings it for Ochterlony. Armstrong. Lefties it for Harris. And Harris. An inexplicable turnover. Timeout called by Nomadic Tribe.
They're celebrating this moment. A gift from the Goat O-line. As you said, no McKnight out there. Surprised to hear that.
The first O point he's been on the sideline for, and he could always come back at 14-12 or 14-13. Quite confident he would if Nomadic Tribe can convert this break. Regardless of where you are on the globe, goofy stuff happens during timeouts.
Looks like they're not shy of the camera in Tokyo, Japan.
They've broken out into a jazzercise at 14-11 in the quarterfinals.
Getting a free fitness workout video here. And yeah, I'm kind of against not having McKnight on the line. You know, when you get your first game point for your O-line to try and score it, I think you put out your best 7, or at least your most trusted 7. Because every point Tribe score from now on, they'll grow in momentum, they'll grow in confidence. And you don't want to wait to play your best players. Stop the bubbles early.
Of the 9 o'clock quarterfinals, this is the only one that's still going on. Riot beat Sixers 15-4. Molly Brown beat Ozone 15-4. 2 blowouts in the women's quarters. Revolver handled Chalk easily. We chose the right game to cover, Liam. Nomadic Tribe has been competitive, even though Goat has led ever since it was 2-1. Harris able to intercept it, making amends. Berloni going deep. Hurst, a mature decision to hang on to it. And now Harris to the end zone. Boychuk can't get there. Harris with his hands on his knees, he can't believe it.
Boychuk only running into a chair and not getting the disc. Could take a leaf out of Hurst's handbook there. We see him look off the difficult throw to the end zone, only for his teammate to take on one himself. Nice aerial shot of that offset vertical stack.
Can Nomadic Tribe get just its second break of the game? See the Japanese cutters, they go deep, try to keep the Goat defense honest, and here comes the deep shot. Ishii lets it rip. There's contact in the end zone, and it's caught anyway by Hashiguchi. So Nomadic Tribe, if it stands, and it will, are back within 2. Some debate about a possible travel. Burrell on the other side of the incidental contact this time. I'm frankly glad Hashiguchi caught it, because I wasn't looking forward to the debate that would have ensued between Burrell and the Japanese there when you consider the context of what happened earlier. But Hashiguchi in the one shirt makes the grab. Thompson McKnight, the first Goat player, back on the line.
Yeah. Quick to get down there.
But there will be some new faces. This is not the typical O-line for Sachin Raina. You see Jason Huynh, Anatoly Vasiliev, Mario Slatic, Isaiah Masik-Kelly, Ty Barbieri, and Cole Keffer. So McKnight, really the only consistent, steady O-line guy. Masik-Kelly's certainly played a lot of offense. We'll see if this crew can convert. If they can't, I imagine you certainly see that main O-line back out there at 14-13.
And we've seen Tribe in this position before, backs against the wall, and they've come out fighting. So do not doubt this Japanese side.
10:54 a.m. Next game's supposed to start in this field at 11 a.m. And I'm actually getting close to being double booked. I gotta head to Ring Colony in 5.5 minutes. Let's see if Goat can do me a solid and put this one in. Ring Colony, Revolution Huck. Our 2 games streamed on these adjacent showcase fields coming up next round. 14-12. Semi-final berth on the line. Huynh fortunate to get there. Masik-Kelly back to Huynh. He's got a couple open dumps. He chooses Masik-Kelly, who distributes for Vasiliev. And McKnight almost got layout D'd by Hona. Vasiliev. Goat living dangerously on this last point. A couple floaty throws, but still on the brink. And there it is. Vasiliev slicing it through to Cole Keffer. And Goat prevails 15-12. On to the semifinals to face Revolver.
Keffer left completely unmarked there for 2 or 3 seconds. They eventually can get it to him. He won't get an easier goal than that, and he's delighted with himself. Winning score, relief on the face of the Canadian players. I think they could smell a comeback coming and managed to sniff it out.
An impressive performance from Nomadic Tribe in defeat. They will go into that battle for 5th place. But Toronto Goat stays perfect. They're now 8-0. Their offense was only broken twice in this game, once in the first half, once in the second half. And despite a couple close calls, some good spirit, some fun emotions in this battle between Japan and Canada, I'd say we've made strides in the last 6 years. Certainly athletically, both these teams live up to the billing. And despite an inauspicious start, the McKenzie brothers each made some plays late. Final score, Goat 15, Nomadic Tribe 12. 9 a.m. tomorrow, Goat Revolver already getting giddy about that one. For Liam Grant, I'm Evan Lepler saying so long for the moment. Three minutes from now, Ring and Colony on one field, Revolution and Huck on another. Quarterfinals Thursday continues at Worlds.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.